honored guest. So I am on Project 7. It's a research. So each research needs a thesis, right? So my thesis is, nice guys finish last. And it worked. All right. So nice guys or gals, gender neutral. There's a theory that nice guys finish last. So I decided to research this. Actually, I researched something else, but this fit in nicely. So how I researched it through math, through game theory. So what is game theory? Well, game theory is the study of mathematical models of conflict and cooperation between intelligent, rational decision makers. And it's existed since the beginning of time. As long as there's been war, as long as there's been games, there's been game theory. But it hasn't been a unique math discipline until 1928, when John von Neumann, a mathematician, published a paper on the theory of games of strategy. So within game theory, there's one game that's analyzed more than any other game in game theory. Does anybody have any idea what that might be? What that game is?
Chess.
Chess, tic-tac-toe. Actually, it's a game called Prisoner's Dilemma. So within Prisoner's Dilemma was developed by two more mathematicians, Marilyn Flood and Melvin Drescher, with the Rand Corporation in 1950, and they were commissioned by the Rand Corporation on game theory to develop a strategy for a global nuclear strategy. So that's kind of scary. And so
especially now.
To explain Prisoner's Dilemma, I'm going to do this in second person. So you and another individual have been arrested, and you've been charged with a crime, and you're going to be interrogated separately. So you have two choices. You can confess, or you can remain silent. Those are your only two choices. Individual in the other room, that's their only two choices. So this here is a decision matrix. If you're a capitalist, it's a payoff matrix. Prisoner's Dilemma. So how it works, if you guys work in tandem, if somehow you and the person in the other room work together, you can't communicate, but if both of you happen to confess, you're both going to get 5 years of prison. It's like a plea deal. If you both remain silent, they don't have a case against you, so you're only going to get 1 year of prison time. However, it gets tricky when one confesses and the other remains silent. So if you happen to confess and the guy in the other room remains silent, you get to go free. You cooperated. The guy in the other room, he's going to jail for 20 years. 20 years. Conversely, it's the same if he confesses and you remain silent, you're going to be in prison for 20 years and he's going to go free. So that's prison dilemma. So within Prisoner's Dilemma, to remain silent is to cooperate. And so you're not cooperating with authorities, you're cooperating with your opponent. To confess is considered to defect. You're no longer cooperating with your opponent. You're doing what's in your best interest. And the reason Prisoner's Dilemma is analyzed so much, it's a decision-making model that allows people to consider their own interests versus the interests of them and others. So this was created by mathematicians, and mathematicians don't like to view these things just once. So what happens is there's an iterative Prisoner's Dilemma. So and hopefully you never encounter a Prisoner's Dilemma, and for most I suspect it's a once-in-a-lifetime deal. However, in math, they like to repeat things, to look for trends, to see what happens after every iteration or successive iterations of Prisoner's Dilemma. So if this game is played over and over and over again, there should be a strategy that is better than other strategies. So now Robert Axelrod, he's a political scientist from the University of Michigan. He hosted a tournament of various strategies in 1980. So he hosted this to mathematicians, political scientists, sociologists, folks in the science and education community. Come with your best strategy and let's see who effectively has the least amount of prison time total after successive Prisoner's Dilemma. And some example strategies are always cooperate, which within prisoner's dilemma means to always remain silent, or always defect, which means you're always going to confess. The strategy they end up winning, that had the least amount of average prison time per prisoner's dilemma session, was called tit for tat. And how that worked was you cooperate at your first interaction, but then you match your opponent's last move, any subsequent interactions. So you're rewarding opponents who cooperate, and you're punishing those who don't, who defect. So fast forward to 2013. There's a behavior psychologist with the Wharton School, I believe, Adam Grant. He wrote a book based off his research called Give and Take. And he identified takers. He identified three behavior patterns in the corporate world, in the business world. One being takers, they put their own interest above the needs of others. And then we have givers, they pay the most attention to what others need from them. And then we have matchers, protect themselves by seeking reciprocity. So, and you can see the parallels between that and prisoner's dilemma. So takers, they always defect. They're always going to confess in a game of prisoner's dilemma. Givers always cooperate. They're always going to keep silent. And the matchers are going to implement tit for tat. Now givers, this is the distribution of givers. So I'd say nice guys would fall into the givers category. But the most matchers, so he kind of did an assessment of the overall, all the studies, and about 55% are matchers, and there's a match between takers and givers, and the remaining 45%. So givers. Givers, he found, you have the least successful, the nice guys that are doormats essentially, and then he also found nice guys that are at the top of their domain. So what he concluded was, most successful givers, nice guys, they're assertive. As the least successful nice guys, the doormats, they're timid. Most successful nice guys, they limit their availability. And least successful, they're too accessible. They'll do anything for anyone. And then most successful, they consider their prospects. And least successful is they're typically too empathetic with their opponent. So that's how nice guys do finish last, but they apparently also finish first. And that's it. Thank you.